Hi, I'm Ken Hauer, president of the Rubicon Trail Foundation. This video series is called The History of the Trail and How Did That Spot Get Its Name? Because some are pretty obvious like V-notch and some are not so obvious like whale bones. So let's get out there and let's get started. Hey, this is Ken Hauer from Rubicon Trail Foundation, and I'm here with John Arns from RTF.
Good to see you guys.
And we're at a place very, very few people know about. Probably have driven over it if they've ever taken the airport flat entrance today, which is the original part of the trail back in the day, as we discussed in our earlier video regarding the airport flat entrance. If you've seen that video, you've driven over it and probably didn't even give it a thought.
Probably not. This is the concrete bridge over Rocky Basin Creek. Most people don't even know Rocky Basin Creek is on the Rubicon, but it is.
I never heard that name before, and I've known you for 20 years.
At least, at least. So this is Rocky Basin Creek, and Rocky Basin Creek is not Gurley Creek. It runs into Gurley Creek somewhere to the west of us.
Interesting.
And in the original Rubicon Trail, this was the last link. The trail runs from Georgetown to Tahoma, and there really were no real blockages to the trail in the, say, the 1915 era, so 1915 to 1917 sometime. There were no real blockages to the trail, and you could drive it from one end to the other, unless there was a big rainstorm or it was during the melt, and the ford underneath this bridge was the only way to get across. And Rocky Basin Creek is deep and it can run hard. So
yeah, we're here, this is late in the season, we're here in October, and it's still quite deep. It's
maybe 3 feet deep.
Yeah, you would on 40s you would still,
it'd be on top of your tires coming in.
Yes,
through it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I can only imagine what it'd be like in June or July
During the melt.
Yeah. Crazy.
So this really blocked people from getting into the Rubicon because the Loon Lake entrance didn't exist, and there was no entrance through Wentworth Springs. This was the way. I shouldn't say through Wentworth Springs. There was no entrance through the Bunker Hill area. This was the entrance to Wentworth Springs, and you simply couldn't get in here.
There was no way around it.
Yep.
This is it.
So you couldn't get into the Rubicon from the west side without fording this until 1937.
Correct.
So the Board of Supervisors started talking about this in around World War II, 1915 or somewhere in that era. And then the war happened and things happened, and they really didn't have a chance to get this bridge in until 1937. Now at that time, the bridge had washed out at Rubicon Springs. What we now call the Green Bridge was a log bridge, and it had washed out at Rubicon Springs.
And it washed out repeatedly, sometimes almost every year.
The wooden bridge at Rubicon Springs washed out very frequently.
And we have a whole other video that we're going to show you on the Green Bridge. I don't know if we'll get to it this year, but probably next year. But we have talked to the daughter of the guy who built the Green Bridge, the current Green Bridge that we know today, the metal one that's there. But back to your story, that one would wash out repeatedly.
So that one would wash out regularly, and in 1937, the supervisors made a plan to fix the Green Bridge permanently, and which they did, and they put this bridge in the same year.
And this bridge is known as the Breedlove Bridge.
How did I forget that? Is that going to be an outtakes?
I don't know. It might be an intake. We'll never know.
Yes, this is the William Breedlove Bridge. It's named the Breedloves are a old El Dorado County family, and there's Breedlove Road in Garden Valley and that sort of thing. But William Breedlove was.
We're going to move over. Let's move over to the.
Yeah, we can do that.
Let's do that. We're going to head over and we're going to show you how we know all this. Okay, so we've moved over. So there's a reason that we know this is the Breedlove Bridge, is because there is a plaque here that tells us a little bit about the story of at least when the bridge was built, which is 1937, who it was dedicated to, William Breedlove, and who actually made it, believe it or not.
H. Williamson, contractors.
Yeah. So, so tell us about Mr. Breedlove. He was quite. The family is quite well known in the El Dorado County area. There's streets named after them and such.
That's
like
right.
That.
There's a Breedlove Street in Garden Valley, and they had ranching and butcher shops and all sorts of businesses in El Dorado County in the turn of the century through today. And they had several prominent citizens from the family, and William Breedlove was a county supervisor in the early 30s, and he.
So actually, he was actually a supervisor for quite a long time. He was elected in 1935, and I believe he served until 1950. So.
And you can't even do term limits. You can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore.
But yeah, 1935 to 1950. I didn't know that. That's good information.
But only 2 years of coming after office, that's quite a lot of political clout in that time frame to build a bridge, as substantive as this concrete bridge. So.
And he was a champion of the bridge, and that's why it got named after him. But again, this was the Rubicon. This was the missing link in getting people across the Rubicon at that time.
And there's one other really interesting footnote about Mr. Breedlove is in 1943 there was a rather famous plane crash. It was a B-25, I
That's
believe.
right.
Yeah, and William was the lead search and rescue person that went to go try to rescue the crew that had crashed north of Placerville, I believe.
Yep.
So, and that was in 1943. So he was still a board of supervisor, and he's leading search and rescue. The guy's like
he's a superhero.
Yeah, he's got his six-gun on his side, and
he built a bridge that we use today. And it's not as integral as it once was, but it's a great piece of history.
It sure is, and it's really one of the hidden treasures of the Rubicon Trail. That is why we did this series, so that we could tell the stories of these old historical moments in time for the Rubicon Trail and capturing them forever. So thanks.
Absolutely.
So what are we supposed to do with this? We're supposed to
like, subscribe, and comment, and let's go wheeling. Let's go wheeling.
Time in El Dorado County.
The family's been around for a very long time. They ran butcher shops, and they ran cattle, and they lived in Garden Valley and Kelsey.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Let's let him get by. We'll start over.
This is why I don't go on.